up, guys? Another beautiful day here. Time to go to the shop quick, get a few things for the cupboard, and then we can have a chat. Right, back. How awesome was that wooden mannequin? Fantastic. If there weren't so many people around, I would have taken more photos, but that's just a weirdo. Sometimes I'm a weirdo. Guys, every single year as a teacher, and I'm about 18 years into teaching, and every year you're dealing with that question. New batch of kids coming through. Why do we have to learn this? Where are we going to apply this in our lives? It goes back to when I was in school, we asked those questions, and I'm pretty sure before that people asked those questions. The avenues for where you would use what you learn are very vast. In fact, so many times education systems change that what you are studying, even as relevant as it might be then, by the time you qualify, it's obsolete. And certainly that was the case with my degree. I mean, by the time I got to the end of my degree, things that I had studied were obsolete in terms of how the education system changed and how they adapted to different methods in the classroom and new textbooks and things like that. But the essence of it has always been pretty much similar. But, and I always go back to maths. Maths is always one of those subjects that really pressed a lot deeper than most other content subjects. But with maths, and guys, if you are still at school, listen carefully, because personally, I have many questions when it comes to the education system and how relevant is it and how out of date it might be. And I'm pretty sure that you've perhaps got your own observations and questions about that. But when it comes to the education system, you either got a support base, your family, your parents, who will allow you to go and pursue your dreams. Perhaps you want to leave school earlier than the standard age and at the standard grade, and you would like to go into a specific niche, whether it be some kind of trade or hotel school or chef, or whatever the case might be. There are certain courses out there that are tailor-made for a particular niche that certain people can enter into and actually go and pursue what they want. And in some cases there are parents and a support base around youngsters to allow them to go and pursue those dreams and those avenues. It's not a safe place to go in terms of comfort and security. When I say not a safe place, it's drummed into us the importance of education and seeing things through, and how having a certificate that indicates that you have finished a particular phase in life, whether it be up to the end of grade 12, and you get your certificate that releases you from that phase of schooling into the next, And then you go to college or university and you tackle the next degree or diploma or certificate. And, you've got to ask yourself, guys, why are you going into what you're going into? Why do you want to do that? Especially nowadays, it's costly. It's incredibly expensive to go into a particular field of study, and it ends up giving you an undergraduate baseline that you still need to now go and build on top of that foundation. So coming back to the question, why do we do this? I don't want to get carried away just yet. Right now, let's look at maths in particular. We sit there and we figure out word problems. How many would Johnny have? And, these problem solvings, it's good to be able to count. It's good to be able to work with numbers and to know when you're actually being shortchanged, literally in life. Obviously, those are basics. But, guys, as mathematics becomes more difficult through the years, my encouragement to you is not to continue living on that cop-out question of why do we do this? What's the importance of this? But rather let that circumstance be your tool, your ticket to building your personality and building your character. To build personality and to build character, you need to persevere. And perseverance is rooted in an unpleasant feeling or situation, something new, something bigger than you. And that is incredibly important. How many of you, and I'd love to know it, perhaps mention it in the comments below, or when last have you actually made a decision that was bigger than you? You decided to go into something or to do something, try something out that you knew, hold a sec, this is taking a bite bigger than you possibly can chew. And let me say, if your mouth can open wide enough to take a big bite, you can train yourself to chew. So when last have you made a decision like that? When last have you decided to stick things out and actually survive through it, whether it's difficult, whether you failed, whatever the case might be, because that's a dying skill, that's a dying attribute. When I teach mathematics and I watch the kids in class, it's just so easy to leave a question out. It's so easy to give up. And to me, maths is testing your personality. To me, mathematics is asking one of two questions in that particular situation. Have you prepared enough to be able to complete a task on time? And in a particular test or situation, an examination with mathematics, you are pressed against time. You need to know certain methods and theorems well enough that by recognition, you need to get going with what you need to get going with. Otherwise, you're going to be running out of time. So it teaches you to stick to a time limit and tackle whatever problem might be in front of you. The second thing that maths does is, in most cases, if you haven't prepared well enough, or even if you have prepared, you always come across those questions which are slightly outside of your preparation zone. And it tests you on how prepared are you to examine a situation and to logically ask yourself, how can I overcome this? I don't have the answers at first grasp, but how am I going to tackle this thing most logically and critically and even creatively in terms of my thinking or your thinking? And I think it's an incredibly important subject to actually teach you how to prepare for a challenging situation, and also how, in the heat of the moment, how to deal with an unknown. And that is something in life. When you leave school, you're going to need to deal with these issues. And it's a character building scenario. Just to stop the paper when you don't feel like carrying on, or you recognize that a particular question requires 2 minutes of thought. Many of you are spending 30 seconds on a question, and if the answer doesn't come to you immediately, it's deemed a difficult question. And you need to train yourself out of that thinking, guys. You need to train yourself out of that thinking, because it's easy to cop out at school. It's easy to stop and say, I can't quite handle that. I'm going to push and hope for just a pass. And that shouldn't be your mindset, guys, because if that's your mindset with small things, I can promise you now that's going to be your mindset with big things. And to me, that's the value in a dead and dying school system. Look at the positive attributes. Look at the situations and the circumstances in the education system, in your class. Look at those situations in each subject, from the subjects you love and enjoy right through to the subjects you really find difficult. And it doesn't matter what you find difficult about those subjects. If it's the content that you don't like, if it's the people you're with that you don't like, if it's the teacher that you don't like, it doesn't matter. These are all things that you need to learn to deal with. And I dare you, I double dare you to take on a more positive attitude in whatever arena you're in at the moment. Whether you're in primary school, whether you're in grade 5 or 6 or 7, whether you're starting high school, whether you're pushing yourself through into the more senior levels of high school, whether you're in your matric or final year, your grade 12 year, and it's on the timeline a very short year, but it's incredibly busy. And you need to just tackle it one day at a time. And know that there's always hope. Know that there's always the opportunity. There's always success at the top of that mountain. And you just tackle it one day at a time. One day at a time. You just know what you need to do. And you need to get there on time. And you bang it one day at a time. And you work hard. And you commit. And when a difficult situation comes, you do the best you can. What I encourage you guys to do as well, very importantly, is to learn the art of rest. Learn the art of proper rest, because proper rest rejuvenates you to be more productive in whatever it is that you're busy with. And I'm particularly thinking about those who are studying in their final year of school. We're in that part of the year now where trials exams for the matrics are coming up, finals are around the corner. I know you're sitting with an incredibly large volume of work. I know this, and I know that it's difficult work, and you wonder to yourself, how are you going to make it? You are going to make it. And you make those moments of productivity count, and then you rest. And when I say rest, guys, you need to rest properly. You can't grab your cell phone and go on to social media when you're having a study break. Your brain's still processing information, and that's not a proper rest. You can't go grab a book and go and read it. No matter how interesting it is, no matter how much satisfaction reading a book gives you, you don't go read a book when you're resting from studying. You need to go and jump in the swimming pool. Perhaps in the middle of winter, it might be a fantastic idea to do that. But you need to perhaps go for a run or a walk. Don't tell me exercise is not your thing. Exercise needs to be your thing, because I can tell you right now, when you start doing it, and perhaps even with other people, get some friends together who are in the same routine of study, and just go for a walk together, chat about life, take in fresh air, and then you go back and you do your studies again. Planning your the duration of your studies, planning your rest. I can guarantee you now, you'll feel far better when you realize that those little bite-sized goals are being reached, and your rest is your reward. I don't know how I ended up on that topic, but I hope that it's useful to some. I'm really just flying off the cuff here, but really, guys, I'm just thinking about where we are. I know for most, holidays are coming up, and even for you who wonder to yourself, well, on a 3-week vacation, what are we going to do? I think it's important to get that rest as well, but my dare to you is find out how you can be productive over these coming holidays. Because if you can get used to doing more than just the bare minimum, maybe you can ask your father or mother if you could dig up a corner of the garden and just make a garden bed, get some flowers, own a section of something that you've created. Perhaps mention in the comments below what you would like to do. And maybe a bit later come back and just tell me if you managed to do it. I grew up with friends who also used to have holiday jobs, going to work at the butchery, going to pack bags at the local store, whatever the case might be. Do something that is outside yourself. And it would be great to get a little bit of pocket money there, but do something that gives you a sense of responsibility. And parents, if you are watching this, my mom used to do it to me as well, especially in the holidays. I used to wake up a little bit later and find that dreaded note on the kitchen counter, the list of chores. And I couldn't back out of that, because I know exactly what was going to happen at 4, 5 when she came back, and I hadn't done that. And so hold your kids accountable, no matter how, obviously keep it safe, whatever the case might be. I don't know what your setup is at home, but hold your kids accountable for little areas of responsibility. They don't get 6 o'clock in the morning to 9, 10 o'clock at night completely to themselves. Hold your children accountable to something. And if you are the child listening to me, I dare you to go to your parents and say, what can I do today so that when you get back, I've done something and I've accomplished something in this household that'll be of benefit to you, mom, dad, grandpa. Try and get outside of your norm. Try and get outside of your comfort zone and commit to doing something, guys, that is bigger than yourself. Now, I hope that what I've shared today has made sense. And I can promise you right now, looking back, it's done me a world of good. It's done me a world of good. Because, boys and girls, if you're 13, 14 years old watching this, you're not going to be 13 or 14 years old for the rest of your life. Within a blink of an eye, you'll be 18, 22, 27, 33. What is the 35-year-old version of you going to be? Based on a wish list? Good luck. There are billions of people out there and they want to succeed in life. Or what is the 35-year-old version of you going to be based on goals, ambitions, a hope, a dream, and a passion to cement yourself down and actually build yourself towards that? Because life is about progress, guys. Life is about progress. Don't just work to achieve one thing, because I can promise you now you're going to be disappointed. You'll be disappointed if your life is a sprint towards achieving one particular outcome or goal. Because you'll get there and it'll be an anticlimax. Or you won't get there and you'll feel despondency. So enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey of life. And I'd love to know just your thoughts on this. Pop them down in the comments below. And please, guys, subscribe to my channel and press that little bell. And have a great one. Cheers.